and what it's been like for these amazing volunteers to be out in the streets fighting back for our rights. We're going to hear from Arizona OBGYN and abortion provider Dr. Paul Isaacson, previous patient and Mojave County resident Pamela Hill, and prolific volunteer Susan Ashley.
Hola, buenos días. Yo voy a estar apoyando con interpretación. Okay. Voy a estar hablando, dando interpretación de todos los discursos, no todos los detalles, pero algunos de los discursos. Hi everyone, my name is Viri Hernandez, V-I-R-I, Hernandez, H-E-R-N-A-N-D-Z. I am going to be supporting interpreting for Spanish speakers. So I am going to be giving not all of their beautiful stories and remarks, but just some. So after every speaker, there's going to be something shared. But just before I go into that, I just want to reiterate that number, right? 822,460 voter signatures. That is a number, right? It's a good number. Right? This is what a winning campaign looks like. Yes. This is what democracy looks like. Yes. And I want to just share that 15 county signatures in every single location. And I also think something that's so beautiful and so special to share today is also that I know that the executive committee looks like Arizona. It is majority women of color that are leading us in this initiative. And for over 10 years, I have seen so many people work for a day like today to be possible, dreaming about a day like today to be possible, but also working their ass off every single day to make a day like today possible. In this heat. And so with that, right, and just everyone who has put their safety and their wellness on the line year after year for today to be a reality. And I just want to say to people, Angela Flores and Chris Love, Arizona, we owe you. We owe you so much. So I'm going to go in Spanish. Buenos días, muchas gracias a todos por acompañarnos en este día histórico. Hoy esta campaña liderada por ciudadanos, por gente de color, por gente en 15 condados de Arizona, están entregando 822,460 firmas de votantes. Esta es la cantidad mayor de firmas en la historia de iniciativas en Arizona. Significa que 1 de cada 5 votantes en Arizona firmaron. Y eso es histórico. Gracias.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Paul Isaacson. I'm an OBGYN physician of 30 years who has practiced abortion care in Arizona for the last 20 years. In my medical training, there was great emphasis placed on ensuring that every future OBGYN doctor learned to perform abortions. Why did my mentors feel that this was so important? It's because they worked in the pre-Roe era, the era in which women came to emergency rooms daily, having been injured, sometimes critically, as the result of an illegal abortion performed by an untrained, incompetent person seeking to profit from a woman's desperation. Today, because of anti-abortion extremists, the rights and safety of Arizona women have devolved more than 50 years. Current Arizona law bans abortion after 15 weeks unless there is, quote, a serious risk of substantial and irreversible impairment of a major bodily function. So let's consider just a few reasons the current law is unacceptable. 15 weeks is a completely arbitrary point that doesn't relate to any specific milestone in fetal development. Many of the medical complications that can lead to the need for an abortion don't occur or might not be discovered before 15 weeks. Ultrasounds, routinely performed to ensure fetal well-being, can only be performed when the fetus is big enough for those problems to be seen, usually around 20 weeks. And many other valid reasons I've encountered in my years practicing medicine. Because the reality is, every pregnancy is different, and every woman deserves the care best suited to her situation. Opponents of abortion have peddled many falsehoods. They have tried to make people believe that abortion is unsafe and that women are harmed. This is absolutely untrue. Abortion is safe. In fact, carrying a pregnancy to term and delivering a baby is 10 times riskier. Extremists would have you believe when abortion is widely accessible that women will have abortions frivolously on a whim. This is so absurd that it hardly requires an answer. But let me say, in 30 years as a physician, I have never seen this. Extremists have created an out-and-out lie that abortions are performed up until the moment of birth. Let me say this very clearly. There are no clinics in Arizona or anywhere in America that perform abortions immediately before birth. Extremists are lying about who can perform an abortion as well. In Arizona, only a licensed physician, someone with more than a decade of post-secondary education and training, may perform an abortion. This initiative does nothing to change that. Current Arizona law puts healthcare professionals and patients in countless unacceptable and dangerous situations. Current law makes no exception for rape, for incest, or countless health complications. Let me give an example. If a patient is 16 weeks pregnant and her water breaks, she loses her amniotic fluid and creates a situation where the fetus will not be able to survive after birth. I cannot help her under Arizona law. I cannot help her even though with the bag of water broken she is at risk of life-threatening infection. Even with that infection that can't be cured by antibiotics, I would have to ask myself if performing the abortion could land me on trial. She's not dying at this moment, but she could be if we wait. Do I use my medical expertise knowing that a politician or a prosecutor with no medical knowledge whatsoever may disagree with my decision? Do I risk my license? Do I risk her health and life? Do I put her on a plane to another state where she can receive an abortion? What if she gets sicker and dies while waiting or traveling? Am I then responsible for her death because I didn't help her earlier? This is the insane situation that exists in Arizona today. But this fall, thanks to the hard work of the people gathered here today, Arizona voters will have a chance to bring sanity and safety back to our state. We will have the chance to vote yes on the Arizona Abortion Access Act and put medical decisions back where they belong, in the hands of patients and their doctors, not politicians.
El doctor Isaacson ha sido médico durante 30 años y él nos está hablando de qué tan arbitrario es esta realidad de 15 semanas. Como doctor, si alguien está a riesgo después de 16 semanas, de gestación, disculpen, aquí estoy buscando el área. Que las personas que se oponen al derecho de la mujer a elegir han inventado muchas mentiras sobre el aborto. La ley actual coloca a los profesionales de salud como él y a los pacientes en muchas situaciones inaceptables y extremadamente peligrosas. La ley actual no hace excepciones en casos de violación, incesto, complicaciones de salud. Y esta situación extrema es la situación extrema en Arizona hoy. Pero este otoño, gracias al trabajo de todas las personas que están aquí hoy, los votantes de Arizona tendrán la oportunidad de devolver la cordura y la seguridad al Estado.
We will now hear from Pamela Hill, a previous abortion patient.
Whew, somebody turn on the air conditioning. Whew. Well, thank you for this opportunity to tell my story about the pain, both physical and emotional, that all stems from the lack of access to abortion. We cannot go backwards. In 1964, my twin sister and I At 16, both found ourselves pregnant from our long-term boyfriends. I remember my mother crying after taking us to the doctor and being told there was nothing that could be done because abortion wasn't legal where we lived. We were already a family of 6, couldn't afford any more children. Once more, my sister and I had goals. We wanted to finish high school, go to college, and start our own families and have careers. A woman that we knew in the neighborhood told us about a place we could go secretly, and even though it was frightening, I had already tried multiple risky ways of ending my pregnancy to no avail. So we drove 130 miles. I was scared, undergoing something like this so far from home, with people I didn't know. We would find ourselves out years later that this procedure was not done properly. After high school, I got married, and we started trying to build our family. I soon got pregnant, but was bleeding constantly, losing my placenta, and had to have bed rest. It was clear that the fetus was not viable, but abortion still wasn't legal. So I had to go through a dangerous pregnancy until 22 weeks, when the doctors finally realized that they had to force my pregnancy to save my life. I had to go through all this with that baby, who I knew would not survive. How cruel is that? We went through all this unnecessary pain because it wasn't allowed to have an appropriate abortion care when it was clear that the fetus was not going to survive. But the bleeding and complications endangered my life. My next pregnancy was a miscarriage. I was in agony, and then it became clear that my cervix had been damaged during the clandestine procedure when I was 16. But my husband and I wanted a family, so we kept trying. My third pregnancy was also high risk. It involved bed rest, surgery. I had to suture my cervix shut and make many appointments to track my health, but I finally was able to welcome a son. My fourth pregnancy came in 1984, and thankfully, abortion was legal because at this time, believe it or not, my IUD was lodged in the uterus with the fetus, and an abortion was necessary. Who knows what would become of me and my young family if I couldn't have received care that I needed at that time. My fifth and final pregnancy also required special procedures and surgeries and follow-up appointments and uncertainty, as well as bed rest, all while tending to a family and a career. But with access to proper medical care and close supervision, I was able to deliver my second child. However, the consequences of that first illegal abortion continued to haunt my family. My twin sister also had complications and emergency surgeries, but was never able to have children. And at 35, she died of alcohol abuse. So much loss and tragedy stemming from the lack of access to abortion and proper medical care. If this story and other remarks you have heard today prove anything, it's that every pregnancy is different. Every woman deserves a chance to appropriate care, not dangerous restrictions. We must vote to restore and protect the right to abortion. No politician has the right to tell a woman where and when she deserves care. These are decisions that belong solely in the hands of the women, their health care provider, and their families. Thank you.
Pamela, quick question. Is that it all in Arizona?
Yes. No.
No.
It was I lived in another state when I was 16.
Okay, thank you. Which one?
Okay, go ahead.
I
Later. Thank you.
Pamela Hill tuvo un aborto ilegal cuando tenía 16 años porque no estaba permitido donde ella vivía tener acceso a aborto. Debido a que se hizo ese secreto, no se hizo correctamente y dañó su cuerpo, lo que provocó muchas complicaciones durante muchos años y varias embarazos, incluidos la pérdida de un feto a los 22 semanas de gestación, un aborto espontáneo, otro aborto para salvar su vida. Esta vez fue seguro y correctamente porque el aborto era legal. Y necesitó cirugías para tener sus 2 hijos. Todos los problemas de salud y el dolor que atravesó al intentar tener una familia se debieron a que el aborto no era legal ni accesible cuando lo necesitaba la primera vez. Cuando el aborto es ilegal, las mujeres salen las más perjudicadas. No les corresponde a ningún político decirle a una mujer qué hacer con su cuerpo. Esas son decisiones que solo un médico, la persona y su familia deben tomar.
All right, we're going to hear from our last speaker, volunteer Susan Ashley. Then, if you want to participate in unloading and doing the intake, you'll walk around the house, down the sidewalk. If you want to just watch and hang around, you can do so right here on this side of the fence. Susan Ashley.
Woo! Allergy season, folks. Good morning, and thank you, Pam. Where are you, Pam? And thank you for sharing your story, and Dr. Isaacson. I'm Susan Ashley, and I have, as a volunteer, I've been collecting signatures for the Arizona Abortion Access Act for the last 6 months. My reason for joining this fight is very personal. I believe in supporting and empowering women like Pam, and I see this issue as a striking abuse of political power. So I couldn't stand by and watch the damage these extreme bans create. Can't hear me? Okay, I'll bring it up. Like so many of our fellow 7,000 plus volunteers statewide, I've collected at bookstores, campuses, public events, trailheads, coffee shops, restaurants, and even a bar. I was anxious about gathering signatures in the beginning. How would people react? Would they talk to me, a stranger? Would I be harassed? I was a little afraid of that. It quickly became clear Arizona voters are absolutely determined to support the right to abortion care. I've talked with many women in their 50s, 60s, and 70s, outraged that the young women in their state are denied a basic freedom that they themselves once enjoyed. They are fed up with having to sign petitions after 50 years of established law. Exactly. I've spoken to younger women, angry and scared, that they have fewer rights today than their grandmothers enjoyed. I've spoken to voters, old and young, who had never signed a petition before. First-time voters, men, women, Republicans, Democrats, and independents. I've never asked for political affiliation or personal stories, but you'd be amazed at what voters want to share once they engage with an issue they care about. I recall one encounter on a trailhead with an older man who came up to me and said, "I'm a die-hard Republican, and I'm outraged. I will sign this petition, and I will vote for that initiative."
Yeah.
Another example of the power of this movement is intergenerational family members who would come up to sign. There'd be mothers, daughters, sisters, grandmothers, and yes, brothers, fathers, and grandfathers too. Young couples, both signing, and friends pulled along and encouraged to sign. One mother with 3 children and pregnant with her 4th came up to me and said, "Mothers understand this issue. I will sign." In April, when the courts decided that the state can enforce an 1864 near total ban on abortion, things really got interesting. I couldn't believe the number of cars lining up for people to sign the petition. A fellow volunteer tells a story of going door to door and folks chasing her down the street so that they could sign. Their neighbor had posted in Nextdoor that the abortion access people were in the area. In Arizona, we value our personal freedoms. Across political leanings, ages, sexes, and locations, our voters support women having control over their health care decisions. And perhaps above everything else, they want politicians out of this most personal equation.
Yes.
Yes. As volunteers, we stood out in the cold, a little rain, wind, and the heat. We carted tables, chairs, signs, clipboards, and blank petitions. So many petitions. And voters came out, interrupting their busy lives in order to support this measure. After having this extraordinary experience, I have no doubt that voters will overwhelmingly pass the Arizona Abortion Access Act in November, and Arizonans will finally be able to trust that our reproductive freedoms are restored and protected in our state constitution. Thank you.
Susan es una voluntaria que recolectó firmas durante 6 meses porque cree en los derechos que tenemos. Ha hablado con votantes primerizos, hombres, mujeres, hijas, madres, abuelas, padres, abuelos también, parejas jóvenes. Una madre con 3 hijos y embarazada del 4º hijo que dijo, las madres realmente entienden y comprenden este problema y ofreció apoyar. En Arizona valoramos la libertad personal. Apoyamos que las mujeres tengan control sobre sus decisiones y atención médica por encima de todo. Y queremos que los políticos no se metan en estas situaciones tan personales. Y su último comentario nos cuenta, con todo el apoyo que ella vio durante estos 6 meses, no tiene duda que en noviembre esta proposición va a pasar.
All right, it is time for us to do the thing. So we have a 9 o'clock appointment. If you want to participate, please start making your way. If you want to watch, you can hang out on this side for press. If you want to do Q&A, we will be available before, during, after. We're not going anywhere.
Dawn, how much are you going to spend on this campaign?
As much as generous donors will give us.
50 million?
A lot.
If we get 50 million, we can for sure find a way to spend it, Howie.
Always an obstacle, even though I got here with enough time. I just want you to repeat because I was busy trying to.
Can you edit that one out? Not that anything's going to happen, but just be aware of something.
Yeah, okay, dude. Yeah, that one. That.
Yeah, that's kind of why I've been standing over here.
That's not even.
I mean, that's if I was a protester, I would scrap it. I don't think this is the way. Protocol is to get each truck.
How you doing? Good morning. How you been? I think that's it, sir.
We've got boxes coming into the building. Stay secure.
Yeah, Bram, we just really don't want people to have amnesia about the history over the last 4 years of democracy. So this is a precautionary step in order to make sure that all of these signatures count.
Okay, so over here. Wherever you want. Yep. That's how it's done.
Am I in your shot? Am I in your way? Okay.
Well, we know that there are some folks who feel very passionate about these issues to the point of unreasonableness sometimes. I'm not going to jeopardize the safety of my staff or of the Capitol, and so we're being as cautious as the moment requires. We've got to get this job done and make sure that this First Amendment exercise, the petition for the redress of grievances, is secure.
Whose idea was it?
So we've had security professionals making sure that we take care of all of the protocols. So I don't know that it came from any one particular person, but we're just going to make sure that this is a safe process so that we can do everything we need to do to make it happen.
have you received any credible threats to the petition drop-off today, to the events today?
So we don't make a habit of discussing any specificities in threats. I will say that we are operating under a continuous threat environment, and that's one of the reasons why we've got such heavy security protocols today.
And to be clear, as far as I know, this is a first for the Secretary of State's office for a petition handover.
I would not be able to confirm or deny that. I'm not sure, but if it is a first, well, then it's going to be the safest one we've ever had.
Thank you, sir.
Are we going to go on the other side of the fence?
Nope.
Adrián, ¿podemos salir?
Sí, claro que sí. I'll come down that way. Okay.
It was really good.
Pues claro.
Is this the, we're going to be unloading everything? Cool. Growing out the beard, huh? I'm trying for mine right now, and I'm like, oh, shit.
Sí, no me sorprende porque hemos trabajado con los grupos y nos han notificado al volumen de firmas que iban a entregar hoy. Empieza a venir ahorita el ratito la señora Roca y vamos a esperar más de 3 peticiones con las mismas ciudadanos. Ahí vamos a empezar a trabajar con los que hacemos. Bueno, lo que le puedo decir a los votantes es importante usar su voz. Es un recurso que tenemos nosotros como población y si lo dejamos en la mesa es como dejar su billetera ahí en la mesa sin usarlo. Es importante que en nuestra democracia tenemos una representación más total de lo que podemos y eso inclusivo tiene que ser su voz. Entonces así es que su voz es su voto y es mejor para nuestras comunidades que todos nos ponemos a usar ese voz.
Was that?
You ask next.
We'll have you right.
Oh, got it.
9:12.
We'll just put you right in front of the gate. Sure.
See, I don't think I shaved this morning.
I'm gonna back up a little bit. I guess.
That's what that's. I know. I'm artificially intelligent generated deep fake right here in the flesh. ABC kids. Oh, I got everyone here. All right.
Let me know when you guys come up. When you guys are up.
Give me 2 seconds here. It's going haywire.
You hold your thing for just 2 seconds. Thanks. There we go.
You ready? Yeah. Everybody ready?
Yep.
All right.
So just talk about this signature and how all this is going to go.
Well, today is an important day. It's an exercise of the First Amendment of the Constitution. These citizens have gathered and they're petitioning for the redress of grievances. Our job is to intake these signatures in the safest way possible, make sure that we can get them verified, including with our friends and colleagues in all of our 15 counties, to verify those petition signatures. And if they make the threshold, which it looks like based on estimates they might for this one, then hopefully it'll be on the ballot and the voters will be able to decide. That's what democracy is about. Now, if you're curious about the security protocols that we've engaged today, this is the first time that we've had this type of security, but because of the very politically charged nature of this, and because we've seen this type of activity, particularly with the abortion measure, reaching such fever pitch in so many places, I wanted to make sure that my staff was safe. I wanted to make sure that those citizens' signatures remained safe. And so we've taken a little bit extra precautions today, but nonetheless, it is open. People are watching here, as you see. I think the truck's pulling up right now. And so this is the First Amendment of the Constitution in action right now.
Did you say the fencing is the extra precaution, the police and everything here?
There are other precautions aside from the fencing, but this is the most obvious one. Yeah.
Fencing, you have dogs. Is there extra people, or can you just give us a scope of what is changed for today?
What has changed for today is that within the receiving area, we've got only allowing 4 individuals from each of the petition groups to come in and accompany the petitions into the receiving area. We've got a bunch of extra protocols, which include a bomb-sniffing dog and an x-ray machine. We've got sealed boxes coming into the Capitol, into the Executive Tower. I'm not going to take any chances with the safety of my staff or of the facility. We're treating this with the most respect for the voters' signatures, but we also got to be safe while we do this. So that's really what's going on here, and that's why we're just giving these folks a little bit extra space to do their jobs.
And is this going to be for all the petitions, or just specifically for the abortion petitions?
No, this is for all of the petition drops that we are having. This one at 9 a.m. this morning is going to be followed by one at noon and one at 3 p.m. We're using the exact same safety and security protocols for all of the petition drops. We don't want to make anybody feel like they're being treated differently.
Were there any specific threats made to any of the campaigns, or is this just an abundance of caution?
That's a great question. We don't talk about specific threats, but we have been operating under some serious threat profiles, generally speaking, for the last several weeks. And so again, in an abundance of caution, we just wanted to make sure that the voters' signatures are safe. That's the critical component here. As well, we want to keep our facilities safe too, so that's why the extra caution.
What's the next step for these signatures and to verify, or what's the next step for these ballots?
Yeah, so basically we've got to sort, catalog, separate, and push all of these out to the counties. We've got about 20 days to do that. We've got to give a good estimate out there, and based on the number of signatures, we'll be pushing those to the counties. So the bulk of the actual verification work on the signature to the voter is going to happen at the county recorder's offices across the state of Arizona. We're doing the intake and the scanning here to make sure that they've got enough general signatures to make it through. Now, after all of this is done, we know that there's going to be some litigation on at least one of these pieces, initiatives, and so we're expecting that. But as it stands right now, we're just in the beginning phase of this entire process. Any other questions? I'm sorry?
Did you sign the abortion petition as a voter?
As a registered voter, I sign all kinds of petitions, even some that I disagree with, because I want to make sure the voters get to decide all of the issues that we can put in front of them. I believe in democracy.
Did you sign this one?
I did.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everybody.
Can you tell us the ones at noon and 3 p.m. what
I can't tell you off the top of my head. I think one of them is the free elections, or the fair elections, the one, and what's the third one? Aaron, do you know? What are the 3 petitions, JP? Is that abortion, fair elections?
Yeah. What's the other one? Do we have one fair wage? Fair wage?
Minimum wage. I think minimum wage is at 3, right? Yeah. So the fair elections one is.
I guess. Oh.
gonna restart. My mod says restart. I'm gonna restart, okay? Because I want to get the clips too. It's okay. I do it the other way all the time. Thank you. Sounds good. Bye. All right.
Can you get in there?
I know, I was just gonna get this.
Yeah.
Okay. Drink, hold it. I'll send you a pin drop. Oh, you. Yeah. Yeah, thanks. Yeah. So you like handicap spot there? Okay, bye. If you want, I mean, 'cause I mean, I don't know if you want, whatever you want to do, like if you want to follow them, or, yeah, I mean, I would. Yeah, they have to walk. No, both. I mean, I've seen them do it like where they have to walk with it. Yeah.
You want to have another?
Yeah.